Hi, this is Amber from the A-Team. We wanted to go through flipping your classroom with YouTube. This is a session that we did in the 2015-2016 Google series. And this focuses on how you can use YouTube to support your flipped classroom model. This is assuming that you understand the flipping classroom model and that we're just going to show you how to use some tools to help support that. The first thing that we're going to need to do before we can start using these tools the most effective way is to set up a YouTube channel. And this may be something you've already done. It may be something you've never done, but I want to go through the steps with you so that you will know how to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is make sure we're logged into Google. We're going to locate the waffle icon or the Rubik's Cube icon, and we're going to go to More if you need to, if you don't see it right away, and we're going to look for the YouTube app. So if you'll open up YouTube, you'll notice that you're already logged in to YouTube because you have your little icon at the top right-hand side. So now I'm logged into YouTube. Over on the left of the YouTube screen, you'll see the hamburger icon or the 3 lines. You'll click on that, and what I'd like for you to go to is My Channel. So if you'll go to My Channel, now I've already set up a channel, so you'll see here that I have a screen that shows my picture that's associated with my Google Plus account, and my channel is open. You may see a window that pops up that asks you if you want to use your Google Plus account to set up your YouTube channel, and you can go ahead and click yes so that you get to this screen. So once you're here and you have your channel, there's a couple things to note about your channel. There are 2 very important buttons with which you should be familiar with YouTube. The first is the Video Manager, and we'll look at that a little bit later. And on the top right-hand side is the Upload button. So these are 2 important buttons with regard to YouTube. So now that we have our channel, we actually have to go and set it up so that we ensure that it's a safe channel that we can use to host our flipped videos. So the first thing that we're going to do is click on Video Manager. And in Video Manager, there are lots of different things that you can control. You'll notice down on the left, you have a bar here that talks about your Video Manager, live streaming settings, your community, your channel, some analytics tools, and some creation tools. Well, what we're going to look at first is we're going to go in the channel section called Channel. So if you'll click on that, you'll notice it'll open up a menu of options. And we're going to kind of go through these options. And this is something you'll want to do even if you've already set up a channel before. You may not have known to go and look at these settings, and there's some very important settings that we want to make sure that we have in place, and some things that we want to talk to you about with regard to settings so that you can make a better choice for the protection and privacy that you may want on your channel. So the first section that we're on under channel is status and features. So we're going to go through this. I'm going to focus on a few things that are in here. One of the things that you'll want to do is, if this is the first time you've used your channel, there's going to be a button here that says your channel hasn't been verified, and you're going to want to verify that before you continue. So if you'll click on that and follow the prompts and go through the directions and have your channel verified, then you can come back to this video and continue working through the options. Some other things to be familiar with are your good standing. It is important to remain in good standing because you'll be posting videos. So one of the things that we recommend is becoming familiar with the copyright guidelines, and there's a little question mark here that leads you to the copyright claims information. But just be familiar with making sure that whatever content you put into your video, whether that's audio or anything that you're showing, that you have the right to show. Not everyone knows how to use the fair use guidelines appropriately. So just be very diligent about not using someone else's work and not using someone else's music or audio without their permission. So just be familiar with that so that we can keep this good standing button on. We do have some who have inadvertently posted videos with perhaps music by artists in the background that are popular artists from today, and then they've actually gotten out of good standing because they posted something that they didn't have rights to post. So just kind of be cognizant of that. So I'm going to scroll down just a little bit more and show you the next most important option. Especially if you're doing the flipped classroom model, there may be times that you need to have videos uploaded onto your YouTube channel that are longer than 15 minutes. So if you notice, I have a green icon here that says I have permission to upload videos longer than 15 minutes. That's because I clicked the button and got permission so that I could be considered to do that. That's another one of those options that you really want to go and do in your account on your channel, and then come back and finish watching this, because that's really going to help you in the long run. The other thing that you'll want to make sure and just kind of look through and see if there's anything else that kind of strikes you as something you might want to consider. But for the most part, on status and features, you want to make sure you're in good standing, that you verified your channel, and more importantly, that you have gained the permission to upload videos longer than 15 minutes. So now let's go down to upload defaults. This is another important area of consideration when thinking about using your YouTube channel for supporting your flipped classroom model. Upload defaults are just the settings that you would like to be in place as a default for protection on any video that you upload. Now, these are upload defaults, not creation defaults. So when you upload a new video, what kind of protection do you want on it right away? With the understanding that you can always override these settings for individual videos. But what I like to think of it is this is where you want to be the most restrictive, so that you can let up on restrictions for the ones that you need to. So let's look at the privacy setting. There are 3 settings in privacy, and it's important to know what each of these mean. The public privacy setting means that anyone can search for my video, anyone can watch my video, anyone in the world that has access to YouTube. So that's a pretty powerful setting. That's going to be a setting that I'm going to use for videos that I want parents to see and community members to see. Those are going to be those really public types of things that I'm going to upload on my channel. I really don't want every video that I have to be public, so this is really not one that we recommend using. Unlisted. Unlisted means people can get to my video without logging in, provided that they have the link to my video. This is helpful if you're going to be posting a video on your website. Even if it's for parents, even if it's for students, if you put it on your website and they click on that link, they'll be able to watch it. But other people out in the world can't look for your video and find it without having that link. So that's one that we use a lot to post our videos on our website. It's kind of a way of saying we want the public to be able to view it, but you have to have a reason to come to our site and want to see it first. It's not something that's really searchable. The last category is private. Private means only I can see it, or I'm going to share it with very specific people who have Google accounts that are going to log in and be able to see those videos. So what I like to do is leave my privacy setting at the most restrictive so that I can change that and let up on one or 2 videos that I want to make public. But if I upload something, I want it to remain private until I'm ready to open it up to the world. As far as category, there are lots of different categories. This is one where you'll want to put education because you are using your channel for the flipped classroom model, or maybe you're using it to share other content with your parents and families and students, but it will be in an educational setting, as this is your educational account. This is your professional account. So I'm going to leave mine on education. As far as license, I usually use mine on the standard YouTube license. If you want to be able to apply the Creative Commons license and you're familiar with that, there is that option as well. But I'm going to leave mine on standard. I don't like to give my videos all the same title, so I'm not going to set a default there. All my videos aren't going to have the same description, so I'm going to leave that blank. But I would like to put some tags on my video. Now, I like to put HTTPS NC tag, which means every video that I put up is going to be searchable by the tag HTTPS NC if it's a public video. If not, it just makes it easier for anybody who is coming to my channel to be able to pull that up. Now, maybe you have a tag that you want to make specific for your school, or specific for your classroom. You can do that as well. We also like to, one of our tags is A-Team, so that if someone clicks on our videos and clicks on A-Team, it's going to sort all those that are applicable to A-Team. This could also be a place where maybe you want to just put, classroom or math or, whatever it is that you teach. Or you can choose to leave it blank. That's up to you. Now, one of the things that we like to leave off is we don't really want on our channels, we don't really want comments. If you've looked at YouTube, a lot of times the most inappropriate content on YouTube is in the comments section. And plus, I'm not putting videos up there that really require comments to be made. So I would like to leave that off. Now, however, if I put up a video that I would like my students to have a conversation about in the comments section, I can change the settings for that particular video. But on the whole, I don't want comments. I don't really want voting and rating on my videos either, because these are instructional. I'm not trying to be a YouTube star, so I'm going to leave these off. You certainly can make your own choices, but those are some of the recommendations we have. If you are going to be uploading videos in one particular language, I would suggest choosing your language here. There is the option for having your videos automatically closed captioned, so that it will type in the text of things that you're saying, and so it helps for your video to be labeled in the language so that the software will know what to look for. If you're a foreign language teacher and most of your videos are going to be in a different language, then there's of course other languages that you can search for there. As far as subtitles or caption certification, we don't really pick anything here, but under suggest video improvements, we actually liked for YouTube to make suggestions. For example, in the event that I upload something perhaps that I took with my cell phone or with my iPad and it was a little wiggly while I was walking, I might get a suggestion from YouTube that when I upload it, that it was a little shaky, and would you like us to stabilize it? And I say, sure. I like getting help whenever I can. So that's something that you might want to consider. As far as video location, you may be taking yours in different places, but if you want to put a location here, you can. That's up to you. The last thing is something to think about. You know how when you see those videos that have kind of gone viral and there's 3,045,000 people who've watched them. If you would like to make your statistics available to others, you can put a check here and it will show how many people have come and viewed your video. That's not important to me, so I'm going to leave mine the way it is. So that's just some choices that you want to make. If you've made any changes, you'll want to scroll up and click the Save button before you go to the next piece. So now that I've saved that, and my page is sort of refreshing, I'm going to go back to my left-hand side here and go to Featured Content, and we'll just talk for a moment about featured content. If you have a video that you want to be the featured video, for example, in a flipped classroom format, maybe you have a welcome video that kind of talks about who you are and what flipped instruction means, and you want that to be featured on your site, one of your featured videos. It'll also show up on your playlist or whatever. You can actually click Feature Content and choose your video. Branding, if you happen to have a logo, you can actually add a branding watermark overlaid on all your videos. So if you have a logo or something you want to put in the bottom corner of your video, you can actually choose to add a watermark and it will automatically apply to all the videos you upload. I want to go to advanced now. For country, for the most part, usually it's going to pick the first country in the list, which I think is Afghanistan. You may want to go ahead and change this to your country so that as others visit, they'll know where you're located. And if you have any keywords that you want to put on your channel, you can put those there as well. For example, education or flipped classroom or fourth grade or whatever you would like for it to be. Or again, you can leave that blank. Now, this section on advertisements, a lot of times you will see that you're watching a video, and right alongside your video as you're watching it, there might be some other videos that are suggested. What this means is if you check this, you are allowing the advertisements to be displayed right beside your videos. So if there's a check here, we would highly recommend that you remove it so that you don't allow advertisements to be displayed next to your videos. This kind of cuts down on the risk of things, inappropriate things showing up on your website. If you have a classroom website and you'd like for your YouTube channel to kind of reference that, you can put your classroom website here, and there are a few steps that you have to go through if you'd like to add that, but there is that ability. Now, channel recommendations. Do you want your channel to appear in other channels' recommendations? What this means is if, let's say you're a science teacher and all of your flipped instruction is tagged with chemistry, and let's say there's another channel out there where there's another classroom teacher doing chemistry, do you want your channel to be recommended to those who visit that other teacher's channel? That's really up to you, whether you want to advertise that. If you're really just doing this for your classroom and it really doesn't apply to anyone else, this is something that you may want to say, don't allow my channel to appear in other recommendations. That's just up to you. Subscriber counts, you will be able to have subscribers to your channel. I recommend having all students subscribe to your channel so that they are members of your channel and they'll get the notifications when new things have been posted. So do you want to show how many people are subscribed or not? For me, it's not really that important because I'm putting that content out there, but I don't really need to know how many people are subscribed. This is helpful in the business world, of course, if you want to make sure that your number is always increasing, so the interest is increasing. But here, it's not important to me. But again, that's up to you. So I'm going to click Save because I've made a change, and I'm going to wait for those changes to take place. And now that those are all set, I've gone through all the settings of my channel, and that's really important to do. So you've created your channel at this point, and you've gone through the settings, and you've made sure that those were set in an appropriate way so that you're ready to start making some videos. So now we're going to kind of switch gears, and we're going to talk about a tool that you could use for flipping your classroom. Okay, so now we're going to start actually talking about how we can use the tools in YouTube to help us support that flipped classroom model. So I've come back to the main Google page only so that I could get to my Rubik's Cube. There is in the Rubik's Cube a section that says Even More. I'm going to show you a couple ways to do this. If you click on Even More and you scroll down, you keep scrolling, and you get to the section that's social, and there's a section called Hangouts. This is one way to get to this tool. You can click there and it will take you to this website. The other thing to notice is as soon as I click there, it's just hangouts.google.com. So I could actually have just typed up there hangouts.google.com. So once you get to hangouts.google.com, this is the new Hangouts screen that you're seeing. It's just changed recently. I really like it. It's nice and clean. So let's talk about Hangouts. Typically, Hangouts is used for several different purposes. You can use it for having conversations in a variety of ways. You can have it by using video and having video calls. You can actually have phone calls via Hangouts. And you've probably seen this in your email box when someone's messaging you. You're actually hanging out with someone in your mailbox. So if someone's kind of chatting back and forth with you, that's what those are Hangouts, and those are messaging Hangouts. But we're going to use Hangouts for a very specific thing. With a flipped classroom, normally you're creating content that they're going to watch by themselves. It's not like it's gonna be asynchronous. You're just creating it and giving them some information to watch away from you. So one of the tools here is video call, but I don't really want a video back and forth with my students because that's really not asynchronous, and that's me giving them content while I'm with them. So we're going to use a tool that if you click on the hamburger icon on the left and you look down almost to the bottom, there's a tool called Hangouts on Air. You may also see it referred to as HOA or HOA. That's the tool that we're going to be using. So I'm going to go to Hangouts on Air. So I went to hangouts.google.com to access Hangouts on Air. There are other ways to get there as well, but I find that that's just the cleaner way to get there, especially when you're thinking that you're doing Hangouts. It's easy to go to hangouts.google.com. So now that we're here, you'll notice at the top I've got Hangouts on Air. I've got a little description about what those are. I do want to scroll down for just a moment because I want to show you some things. There are people who have Hangouts on Air, and what that means is I'm broadcasting and whoever wants to come can come, or sometimes they're private Hangouts. But what you'll see here is there are people who actually post events of things that they're going to do so that people can come and watch them. For example, here's a classroom here. There's this morning, they must have done some morning notes, and at 9:41, they're going to broadcast. So are you going to watch? Yes, maybe, or no. And there's tons and tons of different people who do Hangouts. Occasionally you will find some really great ones that are perhaps Discovery Education, or there are other places that broadcast, and they may be somewhere in the other parts of the world, and they're going to show this great new discovery they have. There are lots of different ones, so it's interesting to go and take a look at those. But we're going to be using this tool as a way to capture video for the flipped classroom format. So we're going to kind of use it in a different way than it was intended, but it's actually really a great tool for that. So the first thing that we're going to do is click on the Create a Hangout on Air button. When you click on that button, it's going to say, okay, you want to do a Hangout, what are you going to call it? And the name is usually really important because that's something that's going to be attached to the name of the video. So if I'm going to do, maybe I'm going to do a welcome message for today's date, which is December 9th. And that's just for me. I'm the only one that's going to see this welcome message, and I'm going to record that welcome message, and I'm going to put the date there so I'll remember what date that is. You can use this area to tell people what it's about, but you're using this just to capture video for yourself, so I don't need that description here. However, if you were doing a Hangout on Air that you are inviting people to, this is a powerful place to put what is it going to be about. I want to start mine now because I want to record right now, and usually if you're using this for the flipped classroom format, you'll be doing it now because you have that moment, you're sitting down and you're wanting to make that video. There is a later button that you can actually put it on a certain date and time, but that's generally if you're going to be streaming to others. So I'm going to leave this at now. Now, I'm going to take a look at this audience section, and this is really important because I want to use this tool just for me to capture video so that I can do my flipped instruction. So I don't want Henderson County Public Schools finding this and looking at it. So I'm going to take that off. I really don't want everyone in the world. I really just want myself for right now because I'm going to record this, perhaps do some editing, and then send it to my students. So I only really want myself. Now, you can't have a Hangout without hanging out with someone else. So my trick to using this tool, here's Jane. I'm going to actually invite myself to this Hangout. So you'll notice it looks up my email address, but it also found my profile here. So this is Jane Doe. So Jane Doe is going to hang out with Jane Doe. So I'm safe in here. I'm going to hang out with myself. No pressure, but I'll be able to use the tools that are here. So after I've chosen the Jane Doe that I want to hang out here, I'm going to click Share. Now, I'm sharing with myself that I want to have a Hangout is essentially what we've done. But again, it was really important that we removed that HCPS. Now, once you've done that, you're going to get this Hangout splash page. And on this splash page, it's going to give some details about your Hangout that you're about to start. It says, oh, there's only going to be one person there. That's lovely. And it's going to be right now. And here is the window that is going to be the place where we can start our session. Now, if this were something that we were using for another purpose, there's some other tools here, but again, we're only using it in this scenario to do some flipped instruction. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Start because I really want to go ahead and be able to do my instruction. Now I'm going to change the size of this window that pops up so that it fits here so you can kind of see what's going on. Now, as with most tools that are on the web that are trying to access tools that are on your computer locally, you've got to give some permissions. Notice it's telling me to click Allow so that it can actually access my webcam and my microphone. So I'm going to go ahead and click Allow. And what I'm noticing in front of me right now, and you can kind of see me in the background there, is that my webcam is now on. And on that webcam, it's taking my face and it's getting ready to put it onto the screen because I'm going to do some recording. As long as this is up, it's not recording yet. There's actually a couple more steps. Okay, at this point, it's saying, do you want to invite anyone else? So I'm not going to invite anyone else because, again, I'm using this for flipped instruction. So I'm going to click Skip. Once I click Skip, I'm getting on this main page. Hi, everybody. And you'll be able to see at the bottom that there is a percentage tool that's increasing. And as soon as that reaches 100, it's telling me that this is now ready for me to start my Hangout. So while this is here, and you can see Angie just joined us behind. So hi, Angie. What you'll notice is that there are some tools on the left-hand side, and there's a big button at the bottom that says Start Broadcast. So as soon as I click Start Broadcast, it's actually going to begin taking whatever I say and do on my screen. It's actually going to be putting it into the video. You'll also notice in the top right-hand corner, there is an off-air button. So right now it's telling me I'm off-air, but in just a moment I'll be on-air. Down on the bottom right-hand corner is the name of our Hangout, and it tells me how many viewers are here. And if I had any links that I wanted to put into the video, it also place it here. Now, again, we're using this for flipped instructions, so we don't actually have anybody else in the system with us. So that's why we have 0. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click Start Broadcast so that you can see how this works. Once I click Start Broadcast, I'm going to get a button that says you're about to go live, and you'll notice that says you can broadcast for up to 8 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. We're not going to be broadcasting for 8 hours, I assure you. And notice how it says it's going live. And as soon as it says the Hangout's on live and on air, I can actually start recording. So I want you to watch some of the tools on my screen that I'm going to be using so that you can make sure that when you do this, you'll have a little more familiarity with what you can do. So I'm going to imagine that I'm starting a Hangout right now. Hi students, I just wanted to give you some information about the assignment that we're going to be doing tomorrow and give you some information so that you can start thinking about some questions you might have and becoming familiar with the content. So now I'm just going to come back to you and pretend I'm now instructing you. I do want to show you on the left there are some different tools that you can use, and one of the tools that you can use is screen share. That will be very important to you if you don't want to just sit in front of the camera and talk to your students, but you actually wanted to show them some content. So I'm going to click on screen share. Once I click on screen share, you'll notice any window that I have open, it's going to ask me if these are any of the windows that I would like to share. So I'm going to choose to share the ZenWorks window because I'm going to imagine that tomorrow we're going to be doing some work on one of these pieces of software. This is a really horrible example, but I just want to show you how to use the tools. So here I have my ZenWorks window, and when I click share, you'll notice at the top of your window, it's going to say that you are screen sharing, and here's what your participants are seeing. So I want to make sure that I'm presenting this to everyone. So now everyone that's part of this, which is actually just me, is looking at my screen. So at this point, since I have screen share on, anything that I do in this window is going to be illuminated. So I could say, this is the software that we're going to use, and after we're using this photo story software, then we're going to be going to Picture Manager and making some choices. And you see, this is a very simple example of the ZenWorks window, but I did want to show you that what I'm doing on my screen is actually being recorded onto this Hangout. So I'm going to press stop and stop recording the screen. And I also want to show you another tool. Some people are not as comfortable with sharing their face on screen. If you're not comfortable with that, you'll notice there's camera at the top that says turn camera off. When the camera's off, it's going to show your picture from your Google Plus profile, and you'll notice kind of the waves that are coming out. As I'm speaking, they can still see I'm actively speaking, but they're just looking at a static image. So for those of you that want to use maybe a flipped format in case you're absent and you want to do some videos for your students, maybe you're sick, maybe you can't be there, you don't always want to be on camera, so there is the ability to turn off that camera. There's also the ability to mute, although I'm not sure why you would mute if you're having conversation with your students for your video, but that there is that option. Okay, so while I'm here, I want to show you something else that you can do. Now, I showed you the ZenWorks window, which was not very fascinating, but I'm going to go back to that screen share button, and I want to share a document that I have open in my PDF window. So again, it shows me all my open windows, and I can choose exactly the one that I want to share. And I can click the share button. And so now you're looking at my digital learning plan document on the screen. So now that that document is open, anything that I scroll through and show will show up on the screen. So if we wanted to talk about some of the vocabulary in this, anything that I highlight is there, anything that I choose to show is there. And this is a great way if you have a document you want to share, if you have something you want to show them how to do, this is a great method to be able to pick your screen that you're using. So when you're finished, again, you'll come back to your Hangout screen and you'll click stop. And that doesn't stop the Hangout, that simply stopped my screen sharing. So one of the things that some people like to do is perhaps use a whiteboard or something that they want to show the students how to do something. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera back on so that I can show you what some people do. So let's say that I wanted to teach them something about their Chromebooks. I can actually use my camera to say, okay, we're going to talk about your Chromebooks, and we're going to talk about how to turn them on. Here's the power button. Here are some gestures. If you use your 2 fingers and you tap, you're going to get a right click. So there are different things that you can use. Some people do a whiteboard, or they have something that they want to display and they want to show students how to use it. So you can do that as well. Lots of different tools that you can use right in front of your camera. You can make some recordings, and it's okay. So you're just talking to your students and giving them information. So when you're finished with the recording, at the very bottom of your screen, you'll see where there's Stop Broadcast. So I'm going to go ahead and click Stop Broadcast, and what you'll see is it's stopping my screen. It looks like I'm still on, but in the top right-hand corner, it tells me that it's off air at this point. You're not finished with your Hangout, however, until you hang up. Remember, Hangouts are based on conversations, either text, video, or a phone call. And so the hang up icon is still there. So I need to make sure I hang up when I'm finished. So when I click this leave call button, this is a screen I want you to be familiar with, because this is the coolest part of this, besides the fact that I could just use my webcam. This says now this recording is going straight to your YouTube channel. So that's what's so exciting. I just made a video. I didn't have to download it, process it, and upload it. It's going straight to YouTube. And it says, allow a few minutes, and then you're going to be able to see it in your video manager. So I'm going to go ahead and close this. I'm going to close this Google Hangouts window, and I'm actually going to go back to YouTube and go back to my main page. So we talked about the two important buttons on YouTube, that one of those buttons was upload, but we also talked about when you're on my channel that the other really important button is Video Manager. So I'm going to go back to Video Manager and show you what's there now. I created a video called Welcome Message for 12/9/2015. Here's my video. It's 5 minutes long, but look underneath here. It says it's processing. It puts the video straight on YouTube, but it's going to take a few minutes for it to be ready for you to do something with that video, but it's there. Now, if you've not done any video editing before, we do recommend that you watch our other video that's creating content with YouTube, which talks about some video editing. But I'm going to go ahead and open up this video because even though it's not ready to watch just yet, down here on the bottom, we've got some things that that you can get that will help you. There's a share button here. So once this is ready, now my video was really me teaching you how to do a video, so it wasn't exactly a format that you might be sending out to your students, but there is a share button, and this is the URL that you would provide to students. So you say, how would I get this to my students? Well, you can email it. You could post it in your Google Classroom. There are lots of different places. You could post it on your website. Wherever it is that you're going to be putting this information, you can give that link to your students. You notice it's still kind of spinning because it's still processing. So I'm going to go back to my Video Manager for just a little bit. And I want you to just notice that that video, as soon as it's ready and finished processing, it's going to be able to be viewed. Now remember, I set my channel so that my videos that I uploaded were private. This one, however, came in as unlisted. So what you'll want to make sure you do is if you're wanting to make any changes to your video, and you want it to be in a different format or you want it to have different settings, you come to this main page and you can set the privacy settings here. If you didn't like your title and you want to redo it, you can. And at this point, this is where you would go write your description. Because remember, when we were doing our channel settings, we didn't put a description in for our default because all videos are different. Also, if you do a Hangout on air, they do get these hashtags or these tags down on the bottom. If you don't like them, you can always turn these off or X them out so that you don't have any and add your own. I'm going to put mine back to unlisted, or make sure mine's on unlisted, because I'm going to give this URL to my students. So I'm going to click Save Changes, and you'll notice the ellipsis that's on my screen is basically showing it's still processing my video. So this is not something you can record and immediately open up to your students. It is going to take some time depending on how long it is. So now it's actually already ready. So you see the welcome message. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Edit for just a minute. So I want to bring that video up. It gives me 3 things that I can use for my thumbnails. It picks 3 random spots in your video. Again, you've got your video link, and now my video is ready. So if you've recorded it and you've said what you wanted to say and you've shared your screen, and I'm actually going to click on play for just a minute. I'm not going to listen to this video with you, but I do want to pull this to where I was sharing the screen so that you could see. So here's where we were sharing the screen in the middle of our video. So you can see that as I was talking about that and started scrolling through and highlighting things on the video, that my students would actually be able to see what I was doing on the screen. So this is why this is so important to consider using Hangouts on Air, because Hangouts on Air enables you to not only capture your audio of what you're saying, capture video of you looking at them and talking to them, but it also allows you to share your screen so that anything you can pull up on your screen is something that will automatically be recorded on your video. So this is something that's really great that you can use as a tool to start flipping your classroom. And join us for our next session that's on creating content with YouTube, and we'll talk a little bit more about editing these videos, enhancing them, and some other creation tools that you can use with YouTube. Thanks for joining us.